Hello there, it's Jen, and it is Friday, November 21st. Welcome to my live. I go live here every Friday at this time to both Facebook and YouTube, and I show up Stampin' Up! Project from start to finish. So welcome. If you're here, let me know. If you're catching the replay later, let me know. I'm happy to have you here. So what I like to do first is I just like to do a quick draw from the card that I made the week before, and anyone who's commented, liked, or shared is in on my draw. So this is what I made last week. So let me just show you here. So I made this pretty card, and I showed you several variations. So there's a pink version, a strawberry slush version. This is Petunia Pop, this one, and then one using the dies as well. So this is the card. So let me just pop on over to my screen that has the draw on it, and then I'm going to get started making a card. So here we go, and get rid of the ad. Maybe here we go. Okay, so anyone who commented, liked, and shared are in the draw. As long as you're Canadian and not a demonstrator, you can win. So Rita, congratulations, Rita. Thank you for your comment. She says, hello, Jen. And there's snow up where Rita is. Rita Vaudrey. Okay, congratulations, Rita. That's for you. So I'll just stop the share, pop back over, and say hello to Nicole. She says, sorry, we missed you last week. Yes, well, I missed you guys too. I've had a really bad ear infection. It's actually still bad, but it's hopefully getting better. I've got new drugs and on the mend. So I missed you guys too. I hated to do that, but I literally couldn't function at all. It was on the drugs and everything else. So I am showing you something that is newer today. It is called Friendly Foliage. It is part of the online exclusives that came out at the beginning of this month. It's this pretty stamp set. It's got this really pretty floral piece. It's got some nice sayings, here for you always, wishing you all the best, get well soon, sending love, you're on my mind, thinking of you, and then some other pieces. It is using the new stamp cases, so they're bigger than the original ones. Let me just get out another one here. This one here, so you can see they're taller. Hopefully you can see that. Just, yeah, there we go. And they come with this packaging, and I showed 2 weeks ago how I set this up. So if you want to do that, if you want to see that, let me know. I can make sure to put that link in there. I guess I need to leave this out, so I need to actually stamp with it. And then here's the dies. So the dies come in similar packaging, so you can see together. They don't take up very much space at all, which is very nice. So these dies are kind of fun because they have some pieces that cut this out. I'm going to show you several versions of that. And then pieces that cut out this. And then there's a couple of extra little pieces as well. So that's kind of fun. And we're going to use those. I'm going to do everything from scratch today, so you're going to see it all. So let's start with getting this piece on a block. So normally I have these blocked up, but I haven't even done that. So here we go. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to stick this on here. This is an E block, I believe. Yep, E block. Okay, so I'm going to just put that aside. And here we go. I am going to use Pretty Peacock. I didn't even pull that out. And I'm going to use my sponge mat just because this is a very filled in stamp. It's not an outline stamp, so I want to get a good impression on it. I've got a little piece of basic white here. It actually doesn't really matter the size because we're going to be cutting it out anyways. So I'm going to ink this up. Now, often when a stamp is larger than the ink pad itself, I'm just going to move this in. Oh, that's not going to work. I think my stand moved. I'm going to move this back just a bit. Hold on. So we can center everything a bit better. Oop. How's that? There we go. Okay. So I like to ink it up like this. So I have lots of good ink on it. And then I'm going to stamp this down roughly in the center here. And photopolymer stamps don't have a cushion like rubber stamps do. So that's why I like to often use my foam pad. So that I really get a great impression, which there is a nice one there. The other thing I'm going to do while I've got paper and stuff out is I'm going to grab the stamp set again and stamp a greeting. So I think I'm going to do the get well soon. Seems to be the season, right, when people start to get sick. I don't know quite how I got an ear infection, but oh well. Okay, so here we go. Get well soon. Stamp that, and then I close that up. And I'm going to grab which I thought I had out, but I don't. Well, here, I'll show you something I do have out. I just got this. This is the little, they're called hole punch assortment. I'm not using them for my cards. I just literally received them in the mail, and they're so cute. Little wee tiny punches that punch out holes for tags or ribbons or whatever. So super cute. So that's not the right punch. What I want is this one. It's the triple banner punch. So it's got these different banners on here. So I'm going to use that in a second. I'm just going to give that a minute to dry. And I'm going to pull up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we're going to die cut this. I'm going to use another set of dies to go with this. It's going to be Textured Notes dies. So I'm going to cut this out in a rectangle. That's the plan. So here we go. Hello. Nicole says she's glad I'm feeling better. Thank you, Nicole. I'm hoping this weekend will make a big difference with the antibiotics. Okay, so I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Whatever machine you use, you just have to figure out the right sandwich. This is the cutting sandwich. This is plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, the paper, the die with the cutting side down. And I want this to be centered, so I am going to use a little piece of tape. This is tape from Amazon, and I have it on my webpage under Jen Recommends, because we don't sell anything like this with Stampin' Up. It's a removable tape, so I can just put that on there, and it's going to make everything stay put, which I want. And I'm going to run this through, and then we're going to show you the magic of the dies from this stamp set. And if I'm yelling, let me know, because I can't hear out of my plugged ear. And so I'm never sure if I'm talking too quietly or too loud. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this, and then we're going to keep the machine here. We've got that. Oh, it turned just a little bit, but that's okay. I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I've actually got one pre-cut. I should have put a piece of tape on the bottom too. It's not bad though. We could work with that. Okay, so there's 2 dies in here that can cut this piece out. So one of them is like this. So it would cut out the outline of this. Let me just move this in here. Hello, Donna. She said she's going to catch the rest later. So it would cut out like that. So it would end up looking like this piece. Oh, nope, sorry, hold on, wrong one. This one. So you would cut out all around the edges. But I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to take this other die that's in the set, and I'm going to put it here, and hopefully you can see this, that it is cutting in the middle of the flower instead. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to put another one on the bottom so we don't move this time. The tape. So I'll show you 3 versions of this after. 3 versions of cutting. Okay, I don't want that one to move at all. Here we go. Okay, so let's get the machine out of the way. And I'm going to just lower this again. So here we go. Make sure the light is great here. I'm just going to put this die over here so I don't lose it. So the idea is, so ta-da, magic. I've got the one that's straight. So you can see here that we basically cut like a little window through here. Isn't that cool? So you could do, like I said, you could do the outline version of this with that one die. You can do this version, or you could do this version. So this is the way that the 2 dies that come in the stamp set would cut, right? So you could have the outline, and then you cut the inside, and you have that. Or you can do what I did and use a different shape and then just cut the inside, so you got a bit of a window. So there's different ways you can do this, which is really kind of fun and gives you some more versatility. All right, so we've got that. And we've got our, I moved everything. Now I've got to find it again. We've got our Thinking of You with the punch. Here it is. So I'm going to punch this out. Oh, no, it's not Thinking of You. That was on my sample, which I'll show you in a second. And then we're going to do, so these punches, they go in through the top here. See that? And then you could punch whatever version of that you want. So I'm going to do the Get Well Soon so you can see that you center it and then punch it out. So you could actually punch a bunch of these out ahead of time if you wanted. and then you would be good to go. So I have here Pool Party and a piece of vellum. So one of the online exclusives is a package of 12 by 12 vellum, which is awesome because we haven't had vellum in a while. So I'm excited about that. And I love just the translucent look of it. So I'm going to just put tape on the back of the Pool Party first and make sure my card is opening the right way and stick that on here. Okay, now this layer is going to go underneath, and I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals so we can kind of see the translucent behind there. So, of course, with vellum, part of the problem is sticking it down so that you can't see the tape. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this here like this, flip it over. It's not stuck down yet, but I know roughly that's where that's going to go. So I can put tape there, and now that's going to hide underneath. So you can see on here, once I lay it down, you can see that tape right through the vellum. Hopefully you can see it on camera. I think you can. If not, trust me, there's a rectangle there, so we want to hide that. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to stick them on here. This stamp set was one of the first ones I wanted to get from the new online exclusives. I just thought it was so pretty, and you could do this in so many different colors. Even though it's foliage, it could be in any color you want it to be. I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals too, and just going to use my take a pick tool to pull those off because they're smaller, just to put a few in here. Does anyone else do this? Put their dimensionals, pull their dimensionals from the center of the package like that. My team would be, well, some of my team would be appalled because they believe you should pull them off in rows. But I just do whatever. Okay, so then I'm just going to peel those off. So this is a little trick you can use, is just pull those backings off with your take a pick tool. I missed that one. And these little guys, I'm just going to use my fingers. I don't want to pull them off. Anybody up to anything exciting this weekend? Any Christmas preparations? So this is going to go right over top. Oh, I see this one has a little piece of ink on the side. But at least it's straight as opposed to my other one, which was sadly just a bit crooked. I think if I cut that down, maybe, you know what, this is a candidate for me to cut it right out. I think I'll go back in and cut this one out so I don't lose that at least. So look how pretty that is already. Gorgeous. Now, this is the only thing I did pre-do, is that I stamped a couple of the little wee pieces from the set ahead of time. So can you see those? These are the, you know, when I move everything, then I can't see it. The little, with these stamp sets are so small, they don't stick out. So this is these two pieces here. So I just pre-stamped them, and then they have dies that cut them out. So I did that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some tape on here, and I'm going to add that right over top so that now I have kind of a two-tone card color going on here as opposed to just the Pretty Peacock. And aren't these colors pretty together? Pretty Peacock and Pool Party. I'm going to do this one here like that. So pretty. And then the Get Well Soon, I'm going to take it, and I think I'll put that on dimensionals too. Just like that. Maybe 3. I probably should use the little mini dimensionals here because I can see that one poking out a little bit. I'm going to just try and move that down. Oh, and I totally forgot to do something else, which I've got here on the side, so I'll pull that out in a minute. So now to decide where to put that, I think I'm going to put it right there, just like my sample, which I'll show you in a second. And then I've got some gems here. These are, they're called Shades of Green Hexagons. And look at all those pretty colors that are in there. There's like soft sea foam and granny apple green and the peacock and the Pool Party. I've got a couple of little ones here that are already pulled out. And the reason I have these already out is because for my team, so those are demonstrators that are signed up under me, I do like some challenges with them every month. And then when they reach 3 challenges, I give them like a online play date. So this was one of the cards that I mailed to them, like the pieces for them to put together. And so this was just a little leftover package here. So I want to use those up before I lose them. And I think these gems are so pretty. Wait till I hold it up so you can see it. They're just so pretty. Check those out. Ooh, so pretty. So just gorgeous. And if you wanted to, you could add some Wink of Stella or something on there. And then the card is beautiful and white in the middle, so you don't have to put any paper in there. So really very simple, but absolutely stunning card. So let me show you this one. Here's one done with the Thinking of You from that same stamp set. So same idea exactly. And I just love that little layer of vellum. This would be nice over a piece of designer series paper too, but it just makes it light and pretty. So light and pretty. Let's see. My friend and I are getting together tomorrow to work on Christmas cards, Nicole says. Awesome. Yes, I need to get working on my Christmas cards. I want to share one more thing with you before I forget. My Kits for Kids. This is a promotion. It's a donation thing that I'm asking for people to donate $27, and I will do make up some kits, Stampin' Up kits that I will donate to them. So my goal is 10, and I'm happy to report that I'm at 8 as of today. So I need 2 more people to donate in order to get the 10, and then I'll donate those. And these kits are great kits to use for teenagers or young adults or something like that. So because they're all inclusive. Are you using kits when you get together, Nicole? There are a bunch of new kits, and of course one of the kits I put in my newsletter on Thursday, one of the kits is really pretty for Christmas, is back in stock. So I'm just going to throw a banner on there that shows my website, stampwithjen.com. If you sign up for that, then you'll see that things like the new kits are back in stock. So Nicole says, such a pretty card. I'm glad the vellum is back in stock. Me too. Like, I'm going to stock up on it before it goes out again. And Judy says, such a pretty card, Jen. Thanks so much. I quite like this card, and I can't wait to try it in other colors. I think it'll be very, very pretty, and maybe even with designer series paper underneath. So that would be very nice. And like I said, here's the different versions of this cutout that you could do. So I'm going to take this crooked one and turn it into this so that I can use it. So you could either 3D layer that on there too, or just use it separately. I think there's so many things you can do with this, and I can't wait to play more with this stamp set. It was definitely one of my favorites. That is called Friendly Foliage. And like I said, there is a bundle with the dies. So they look like this. And you can see here it says Friendly Foliage dies. So they would come in 2 separate packages like that. And there you go. Yes, I mostly do paper pumpkin kits. Yeah, so the kits are great because they're like, you pull out the box and everything you need is there except for maybe scissors. So they're pretty fantastic. So that's why I think they're a good gift to give, especially to a teen person. Anywho, that is all I got for you today before I lose my voice, because that seems to be a thing that's happening. My hair is all poofy. So thank you very much for joining me. Is there going to be a paper pumpkin special coming up for Black Friday? Yes, there is. And I meant to put it in my newsletter on Thursday, but I'm just still kind of dozy is the word I'm going to use on my antibiotics. Yes, so you'll see that in my newsletter on Tuesday coming out. So I'll definitely make sure that you know that. In fact, I probably will try and put it on my Facebook page sooner than that so you know about it. But yes, it is coming. There's a paper pumpkin special coming out for Black Friday. Actually, sorry, it's not Black Friday, it's Cyber Monday. So the Monday after Black Friday is when that special will start. But there is a special from Stampin' Up coming out for Black Friday, which is unusual. They don't normally do a Black Friday special. So this is kind of exciting. And there's like things like 40% off blends and a bunch of other things. So I'll probably put that on my website possibly today, and then it'll be there. But for sure in my newsletter on Tuesday, you will see that. And then I can see that my banner didn't actually go on. There we go. stampwithjen.com if you don't already get my newsletter, and then you'll see that. Okay, so let's just see what else you guys are saying. Robin's going to watch the replay tomorrow. That's great, Robin. Thank you for doing that. I hope you are well. So everyone, take care, and thanks again for joining me, and I will see you all again next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.